Hey, what's up, you guys? All right, we got Charles Oliveira versus Michael Chandler in the main event. And Charles Oliveira, he's a rising star and a late bloomer. He takes the center in the beginning of the fight, and then he kicks to fill himself out. And he's got a tested chin at this point. He used to give up on himself quite a bit more. He's very fast, brutal calf kicks, brutal head kicks, squeeze like a freaking snake. And he's going to have a 4-year youth advantage, a 2-inch height advantage, and a 3.5 reach advantage. So he's going to be the way lengthier guy in here. He's going to have the slightly worse record, according to Chandler's, and slightly less volume and slightly less striking differential as well. But he has a lot of tools in his toolbox. And Michael Chandler, he's a fading star. He's kind of like a small bullet. Weak legs, chinny, but well-rounded, very tough. You know, he wants to win and things like that. I think he's got a lot of connections. And some people say that fight with Hooker is fishy. I'll let you be the judge of that. But I do think that he is a good fighter and whatnot. And I can't tell if the UFC wants him to win or if the UFC wants him to lose on this one, you know? But on this one, I think Charles Oliveira is going to find the calf kick at least once. Or good enough to put him down and possibly TKO him from that. Or if not, he'll find another way to finish him, just being the lengthier, more youthful guy in this one. So let's go with Charles Oliveira. All right, in the next fight, we got the co-main event between Tony Ferguson and Beneil Dariush. And Tony Ferguson's going to have a little bit of height and a lot of reach on this one, but Beneil's going to have the youth advantage. And both of these guys can submit you. Both have their own version of wrestling. A little bit different wrestling, but their own version. Tony should have the better volume in this, according to the numbers. And Tony actually has the better differential. Tony's been known to overtrain as well, excuse me. He's got a long jab, and his elbows are like knives, you know, so he could always cut you up, and he's very fit. He even cut up Oliveira in their fight enough to have the doctor look at it, I believe. But Beneil hasn't been to the shadow realm in 3 years. He's very active. He's looked great. Tony's looked not so good. I think the smart play is Dariush, but Tony is a live dog in this fight, no doubt about it. So I'm going to go with Beneil Dariush in this one. I think he's going to mix it up well enough, and I think he'll find the finish on our boy Tony here. Okay, in the next fight, we got Caitlyn Shakakian versus Viviana Araujo. And Caitlyn's going to be 2 years younger here. She's going to have the 5-inch height advantage, which she usually does have a height advantage in her fights. But Araujo is, she's quick and she's got a darting style, but she gives up her guard as well. And because she's not afraid to be down there. She does do takedowns, and they're nice when they work for her, and she's got very high volume. Now, Caitlyn, she's been in there with some great fighters. She's probably like a B-plus fighter. She's weak and a quitter, and some of her fights just look a little strange with her hitting the air and then her giving up in that fight. It's just like, what's going on here? What are you really here for? I don't think she's like a dog or anything, but I think with her size and her skill and just knowing how to play the game, she's smart enough to know how to win in this. Originally, I was going to go with Araujo, but I think in this one I'm going to go with Caitlyn Shakakian by decision. All right, the next fight in our main event, we got a featherweight fight between Shane Burgos and Edson Barbosa. Now, Edson, we've seen him fight for a long time, and he's had some wars. He's looked great. He's looked bad. He's looked everything. He's mostly looked good compared to bad, but, he does have negative striking at this point. He's becoming a journeyman. He's 5-5 in his last 10, and he's chinny, man. He is chinny, and this is definitely going to be a standing fight against Shane Burgos, who's a beast, man. He's got some, I would say, some unlucky fights, like that Josh Emmett fight, man. He was getting tagged, and Josh Emmett has gyno. And so I'm assuming, he's a steroid abuser, and that's why he hit so hard. But Shane Burgos hung in there, and I just think his record is slightly unlucky with his losses. This dude has the best volume we've seen in a while with 95 out of his last 5 strikes thrown, and that's just insane, man. This guy throws over 100 a lot. So he does have positive striking, and Edson does have negative striking, so that's going to factor in. On this one, I'm going to take the younger man, who is also, let's see, What was the height difference on this one? Oh, Shane Burgos is going to have the 5-year youth advantage, and they're going to be about the same other than that. But I think that Shane Burgos is going to be the bigger guy here. So let's go with Shane Burgos. All right, in the next prelims, we got Ronaldo Souza versus Andre Munoz. And to make this one simple, I don't see any way that Souza can win. I'm sure they're setting up Andre Munoz to win. The only chance that he has, Souza this is that Munoz used to be chinny. I think that Andre is better everywhere, 10 years younger, 6-inch reach advantage. He's not a negative striker like Souza is. And that's about it. I think that he's going to, Munoz is going to have the takedown and sub. What is Souza going to do to him? I don't see it looking very good for that guy. And he's probably going to get cut soon, you know? So let's go with Andre Munoz on this one. All right, the next fight, we got Matthew Schnell versus Rogerio Bantarin. And, you know, Bantarin, he looked pretty good before he got knocked out recently. And then after that, coming back a little quick, it's kind of strange. It's a little bit odd. He's going to be the 2-year younger man here. Rogerio does have negative striking, and he is going to have the takedown and submission threat compared to Schnell. But Schnell's going to have the 3-inch reach advantage, a 3-inch height advantage, the better striking, the better volume, and the takedown threat. Actually, you know what? I don't know which one of these guys has the better takedown. I'll look it up. But other than that, I think that Schnell is just going to be the more well-rounded guy here and just have more to offer and more ways to win. And Rogerio recently losing the way he did. Doesn't put a lot of confidence in him for me, so I'm going to go with Schnell. All right, in the next fight, we got Lando Venata versus Mike Grundy. And in this fight, Lando Venata, sometimes he looks like really good, sometimes he looks really bad. I can't get a good read on the guy, to be completely honest with you. But he is a negative striker, Lando is. But so is Mike Grundy, and Mike Grundy's an even worse negative striker. So Lando's going to have 5 years on him, a 2-inch height advantage, and he's going to be used to the bigger guys, you know. I don't know if he's going to be that much bigger than Mike Grundy, who's going to have a 1-inch reach advantage on Lando. But he is going to have Lando is going to have the better volume here, even though he's going to have negative striking. And like I said, he's more well-rounded. Now, Mike Grundy could get a submission off and with one of the takedowns, but I don't really see that happening, especially with these guys being small. So I'm going to go with Lando Venata in this one. All right, in the next fight, we got Andrea Lee versus Antonina Chefchenko. And I am really low on Andrea Lee. I'm not a big fan of her, man. But apparently she's got great volume. That's something that she has for her. And she's got positive striking, good striking. I wrote overrated by her, but maybe I underrate her a little bit. Andrea Lee is going to have the 4-year youth advantage, a 2.5 reach advantage, but she is going to have 3 losses in a row. And I don't think she's about this life, man. Andrea Lee. I really don't. I don't even think she likes doing this. I don't get what she likes, but she doesn't seem like she's having fun out there. And but she's going to have the takedown as well. So she's got a lot of things going for her in this fight against Antonina, who's only going to have the height advantage. She's going to have the better record, the great bloodline, about half the volume. And but she does have a good striking differential herself. It is lower than Andrea, so on paper it's looking like you should pick Andrea, but I want to pick Antonina. I don't know if that's just because I hate Andrea. I usually try not to bet emotional. Let's go with Antonina on this one. I just think that she'll find a way to win. All right, in the last round of prelims we got Jordan Wright versus Jamie Pickett. And Jordan Wright, man, overrated. So overrated. The dude, I think he sucks. I'm going to be honest. His differential is really bad. His volume is bad. The only thing he has going for him is 3-year youth advantage and a little bit of weight. Other than that, he's there to lose, man. I think that they want him to do well. He must have some parents somewhere of something, but the dude is not about it. He's not about it, okay? And Jamie Pickett, he's looked pretty good in his fights. He has a 3-inch reach advantage as well, Jamie Pickett does, and less of a negative striking than Jordan Wright. but still negative striking and pretty bad volume as well, but better than Jordan Wright. And he's going to have the takedown advantage. So what if he mixes it up against a guy who seems like he's scared out there in Jordan Wright? Jordan Wright just doesn't seem like he's about that life. I don't get it. I know I said that once already, but it's just true. And I think Jamie Pickett wants to win. I think he's getting hungrier and better. And I'm going to go with Jamie Pickett on this one. All right, in the next fight, we got Gina Mazany versus Priscilla Chuwera, I believe. And I don't think Gina Mazany is that great. She has no chin, but she's going to have a 3.5 reach advantage in this fight. And she's going to have the worst volume, but she's going to have the better striking differential. And that being said, I don't really care that much about this fight, but I probably will put a little bit of money on the underdog being Priscilla, who's going to have a 1-inch height advantage and the volume advantage, but she's also a negative striker. Oh wait, Gina's barely not a negative striker, but Priscilla is. But you know, she's lost to Valentina, and I don't think, is this Zombie Girl? Is this Zombie Girl? I don't even have a name in front of me, so I don't know. But I think that girl, Priscilla, I think that she's got a little more in her, a little more dog in her, and just based on that, I'm going to pick her to win. All right, in the next fight, we got a featherweight fight between Kevin Aguilar versus Tucker Lutz. And, you know, in this fight, Kevin Aguilar, he's going to have the 1-inch reach advantage, but he's going to have negative striking again. And he's on a losing streak, and he's chinny. So it's like, what the heck? I mean, that just spelled, how many more red flags do you need in a person? Negative striking, chinny, on a losing streak, gonna have the worst volume here. I mean, it just seems like this is a setup for Tucker Lutz. Tucker Lutz has the, he got KO'd in his very first fight, but then other than that, went on a roll. So how would you like to be 0-1 and then rattle off 11 wins like him? And he's going to have the 6-year youth advantage here. Positive striking with 1.53 striking on the differential. And he's on the rise. You know, I think this is going to be a good fighter. He's going to have the takedown advantage as well, Tucker is. So by mixing it up, I think he'll beat Kevin pretty easily and show himself to be a good fighter in the UFC. All right, in our last prelim, we got Christos Thiagos versus Joel Alvarez. Now, Christos, he's got a salty record, and I think he's a journeyman there to be beat for Joel. And I'll give him credit. Christos does have positive striking, and he is going to have the takedown and the volume in this fight. But he just loses to a little bit better of the talent. You know, there's certain tiers in this, and he just doesn't make it past a certain tier. And I think that Joel Alvarez, he does. He's a negative striker, but his whole thing is submissions. You know, he's not going to be the volume guy. Christos definitely has the better volume here, but Joel is going to be younger by 4 years, have a 6-inch height advantage, and a 6.5 reach advantage. That's pretty big. That's a big deal. And he's got the way better record, so he knows how to win. I'm going to take Joel in this one by submission or decision. That's it, and let's win some money.